little bit on the requirement to make sure that we're documenting some comments, particularly about our UTVs. Just another reminder out there, make sure that those who are using those, that we kind of partner with the Conservation Agency, that we're adding some additional data in those comment fields there. We're also going to be talking about work plans. Don Miller from the Northeast is going to help highlight some new enhancements we're adding. We've got a few things that we have changed on our documenting location page. Tommy's going to be highlighting those particular items. Randall's going to go back and kind of give us a little bit of just a reminder on fleet. We tend to get questions about, well, this fleet truck has got numbers messed up. Again, he's going to kind of step through that again, just kind of remind everybody. Usually this is what's going on in those cases there. We will also be talking about some items with documenting work location, about how do you go back and can you see like what others have previously documented. Just a reminder, some functionality on that. I'm going to talk a little bit about where we're at to get our learning as far as our training data since May 31st. I'll kind of give you an update of where that's looking at. Some reminders about holiday. Again, we got Labor Day weekend coming up this weekend. Kind of think through those there. Again, remind where those help links are. We also have some information. We're going to touch base a little bit with ladder license leave. Talk about a few of our Power BIs that we have out there that might be of interest to everyone. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our next month, what we'll focus on for that this next month. So I would encourage you again, please use that chat. If you've got questions, we'll be monitoring that. We'd far rather answer y'all's questions. We don't want to just be talking about things we think is only important. So throw that out there. I think we're also going to have some questions or quizzes today. So if those of you who are there at your computer might be ready to answer a few of those as we go through today's session. So, hey, thank you again for joining us. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Randall. It's all yours, man.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So we will jump right straight into our herbicide license. So I think we went over this maybe a time or two, but just a refresher so everybody understands what to do and what the need is. So those people that have herbicide license, we're now getting that information from the Department of Agriculture. It comes directly from them. But the problem is they don't have our IDs and all that kind of stuff. All they have is our name that we fill out on our license. So what we have to do is we have to link those herbicide license numbers to an individual, and we do that in MMS. You only have to do that once. Once you've done it with your herbicide license, you're good to go. So I'm going to step through how to do that. Mr. Tony Dawson was gracious enough to let me impersonate him and do his license for him. So we're in as Tony Dawson now, and we go to the ladder license and leave module, and we're going to go into license and training. So by default, it comes up with the driver's license, but we're wanting to look at professional licenses. And you'll notice he's got something in here for Keith Lee, but no herbicide license for him. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this herbicide license button up here in the top right corner. It recognizes that it's Tony Dawson. So this is the only steps that you have to do. You're going to enter in your license number, which comes off of the license that you get from Department of Ag whenever they mail that to you. And I'm going to go ahead and capitalize that to make sure that's right. P5936. And then we're going to enter the expiration date. So I've done this a bunch of times, and the easiest way I've figured out how to get to 2026 is if you click on the month, that changes it to a year, and then you can go years at a time. So we're in 2026, and March 31st is the expiration date on his current license. And then we'll search, and this is what information is coming from Department of Ag. So it's giving us the license number. So you're just confirming that this is you. So Tony Dawson, that's the license number. These are the core categories that he's trained in, and the expiration date. Yep, that's all good. So we'll certify that and then click save. And now you can see that his herbicide license is in his professional license tab. So once again, you only have to do this one time. Then when you renew the license, it's going to have the new expiration date in there. So we went through that fairly quickly. But good news, we've got a video, right? So I'm going to show you how to get to these videos a couple different ways. So if you click on the help button, you guys are all pretty familiar with this page, I think. So in the MMS videos, you can scroll down, and this is part of the ladder license and leave. So ladder license and leave, and here's your help or herbicide certify video. If you don't like that, if you want to watch the YouTubes, we'll go back to the help button. This MMS team channel, that is our YouTube channel. So not all of the videos that are in the MMS videos are in this YouTube channel, but most of them are the ones we thought are important. If you want others added, let us know. We can add them. But you just click on this MMS Teams channel. By default, YouTube makes us come to these playlists, and we're in the process of creating multiple playlists. But for now, the easiest way is just click on videos. And here are the two most recent videos that we just uploaded. And this herbicide certify is the one that you would watch. And like I said, there's a long list of videos that are in here. So it does have the search feature. If you want to search for it, it's not as good of a search as what I would hope for. But if you get a word that matches completely and you search that, it will filter down to that one video. So you click on that and you're good to go. So that's a way to get to our MMS YouTube channel. Any questions about the herbicide linking to that herbicide license? All right, I will post a link to that YouTube video in this chat, so it'll be there for you. But other than that, I'll turn it back over to you, Michael.
Randall, would you mind highlighting what we want our spraying crews to make sure they're adding to the comments field?
Sure. So I think best I can remember, you're going to be documenting if you use the UTV. Mark Oftenberg was preferring that you document that UTV. I don't remember, Michael, does he want the herbicide details, or was it just the UTV information?
Looks like we said, what did you do? So like I sprayed Teasel or Johnson grass. Again, that's in that comment field. You've picked your location. And then like I said, UTV number. I used N0979. So again, just want to make sure we're supporting all of that.
Yep, and that information is going back to Department of Conservation. So they've partnered with us on those UTVs and some sprayers and chemicals and stuff, and that's where most of that information is going.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Randall. Got a video out there, and that herbicide license also can tie right into our signing work alerts. So we actually have a role now. I think we called it like applicator licensee, I think is what it was. So that can be something that also can check there. Fantastic. All right, we're going to move now into work plans. Again, if you guys have questions about the herbicide, throw it out there in the chat. We'll monitor that. So on the work plan side, Don's going to be sharing with us here in just a second some of the updates we just made. We've been testing this last week or so, and I feel like those are some nice benefits that we can have to our process. Just going to share my screen here. I've come in here as Chris Draffin, superintendent up in Kansas City. Chris, appreciate you joining us today. We have got, hopefully this will share with you all. My internet has been kind of in and out of the last day or so. But I've come in here as Chris. He's got the southeast area there in Kansas City. I've turned on particularly our work plan for 2024 calendar year. I turn on asphalt. I turn on view. Okay. So particularly you'll see all this red are planned routes. The green is where they have officially done their work. Again, very easily these guys are still working. But what I wanted to highlight, we're just getting ready to start this up again, right? So we built 3-year work plans. We're getting ready in the next month or so. Some of you, you try to get your work plans done before the end of October. I think there's some wisdom in that, before winter hits. but there's some things we want you to think through. Okay, so I'm going to look at this route here, right here. If I click on it, just from the map side, we're going to get some details. Now you'll notice this has got Knob Noster. There is one of two. If I hit next, you'll see Warrington. So there was a couple of different buildings that participated in that particular activity there. So you can see some kind of some high level data on that one there. Let me drop a little lower here when I pick this. Okay. So here we go. So this route here was planned by Nomnoster, okay? And so other buildings obviously were helping with that. That's great. You'll notice the length was the entire route. Now we didn't work that entire route, right? I don't know that this is really too far out of, doing probably the best, but just ask the first thing. Think through really where you're going to work. Try to be as accurate as you can. It's not about being exact, but you do want to have it so it looks at the end of the year, we really got pretty close to what we planned to do. All right. I could probably hold this route comparison to maybe this one down here, right? Things change, I understand that. But just try to be as best you can when you initially pick it. Pick the route, be as accurate as you can about the locations. This is where we're going to do our work. This is your plan, right? This is what you're going to do next year with everything that you can control. And then I'm going to show you a little bit later in our presentation some Power BIs that we have for that to think through it. But we are getting right into that process now of wanting to go in, look at our work plans, make some updates. So Dawn, I'm going to hand it over to you. She's got some things to highlight that hopefully the update process can be a little easier.
Good morning. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the Northeast requested that there was an easier process when you went in to update cost in your work plan after you've already created your future years. And the MMS team was able to go in and have that added. So now, not only when you're updating your plans, even when you create a plan, you can do it. So we're gonna create a new work plan. Oops, sorry, wrong year. And I am in the test environment. So if Jason's on here, I'm not adding to your plan. And we're just gonna do pavement work, 312. I'm just gonna put some generic dates in here. This is just an example. So I'm not quite close enough. Okay, so when you come in and you're gonna add your liquid asphalt and you put it in and say you want the price at $275 because you think it's gonna go up a little bit. You will get this question up here that says click OK to apply unit cost $275 to all of 2025 7B14 R312, the commodity code, the commodities description, or you can click cancel or to only be to this one thing. But if you click OK, then every time you go in there, it's going to say 275. And then, so you won't have to update the cost anymore as you work through your plans. Again, for your cold mix, you come in 150 tons and say, this is the average cost in MMS, but yours came in at $59.50. So yours is less. You get the question again, you click OK, and it saves it. Just finish out the process. And then when you go and create your next one, as you go through, that when you get to the liquid asphalt again, 275 is saved. So you don't have to update the cost anymore.
All right, Don, that's fantastic. Hey, Don, would you mind going ahead and going over to the work plan grid for just a second there?
Oops.
I really appreciate, again, this is all about, we think we've got something that's kind of working out there, but then, as we get into it and our supervisors and superintendents working through, it's kind of like, this is hanging us up. We could do some things here a little bit better. So appreciated the Northeast reaching out to us and offering up an idea that could we do something that helps with updating some unit cost. So when you go to the work plan grid here, you'll notice if Don comes in here and again picks a year, picks any kind of an activity, those same pieces that you saw Don going through, you could do the same exact thing in editing something you already had. Click straight on materials and go through exactly the same way she did. Pick a commodity. This should help, we hope, in how you're trying to update stuff you already planned for 2025 last year, but now you want to update it. So again, thank you, Northeast. Thank you, Don, for helping us out on that. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. So next couple of things. Tommy's going to highlight some on documenting work location, and then we got Randall with some fleet, and then Shree's going to help us with a little bit of on documenting location, seeing what others have done the last few days. So turn it over to Tommy.
Thanks, Michael. Let me share here real quick. So we're going to be making a recent change here, or making a change upcoming. And really all we did was we removed a bunch of the signal layers that we had on the documenting work location map. So we had county, city, other, just made it super, super busy. And made it that much more difficult to find the signal you were looking for, or lighting that you're looking for when you're documenting. So really, for our signal and lighting folks, hopefully this just provides a cleaner product, makes it more efficient for you to go. And you can see in the legend, we removed all the different colors and owners of all those traffic signals, and now you only see the green MoDOT owned traffic signals on the location map. So that'll be coming in our September deployment. Forgot to look what date, the 11th or 13th, I remember. September 13th. So just a pretty quick little fix, but we think it'll be a big improvement, make it more efficient and easier for you guys to find the signals that you're looking for. Any questions there? Okay, then I'm going to turn it back over to Randall. He's going to give us another reminder, another example on how to correct the usage on our fleet items. It continues to be something that we always get questions on and need help with. So we'll just give you another opportunity here.
All right, thanks, Tommy. So I'm going to pick on my friends from Patton. I got a call from them. They were the last one that I got a call on. But like Tommy said, we get this call multiple times a week, and it'll just kind of explain what goes on and how to fix it. So I've just started a mowing activity here, and we'll go into the equipment page. And this backhoe, even though you're not mowing with a backhoe, but that's okay. This 06468, when you select it, of course, it's not a GPS unit, so you have to manually enter the ending hours, but it says 1,091. Well, I got a call from them and said that's not right. That's not even close to what it is. And we fixed it, and something keeps going wrong. Can you help us out? So the process that we go through to figure out what happened, I'll flip over to another screen here. This is what we do to figure, one of the steps we do to figure out what's going on. And you'll notice these are the ending hours, all for this piece of equipment. And this is what's been entered into MMS. And everything's going real good. And then we get here and somebody's entered 112, and then they go 115. So they're entering the usage right. But what it is, they just left off a number out of their entry on the ending hours. And they're right. We get up here and somebody went ahead and fixed it. And they said, I don't know what these guys have been doing, but let's fix it. And then the next guy kind of messes it up. So that's what happens 90% of the time, especially on those manual ones. It's just an entry error. It's no big deal. It's easy to do. You fat finger it. Either you put in too many digits or not enough. So we go in and look, and then we say, okay, so what do we do to fix it then? So all you have to do to fix this is enter what the actual ending hours are. So I think it was 1137. And then you need to enter the usage for that day. So notice when I clicked in there, it automatically said there's 46 hours because that's the difference. That number does not have to stay. So because we're fixing this, correcting it, we didn't use 46 hours that day. That's not possible. We used 6. So you put in the 6, confirm that, and then save it. And then the next time you come in, this 137 will now become the beginning hours. So it's important to know that just because the system puts that 46 in there, which is the math between these two, that doesn't have to stay. If you're fixing it, you can just change the ending hours, confirm it, and then save it, and it goes right on through. And next time you're good to go. So that's how you correct those. Real quickly, I'll go back to the videos. You can look at that through this help button. So I'm in UAT. I don't know if that's actually going to take me there. Yep. So you've got the MMS videos that you go down to, I believe it's equipment. Yep. And then correct ending miles. Or if you want to, you can go back to the YouTube channel, click on videos, and then the correct ending mileage. One other thing that I wanted to point out is if your geotab is not reporting correctly, as a supervisor, you can go in and look at your assets. So one of the most common things that we find is this time reported, last time reported. See, this says 140 days. That tells me something's wrong with the geotab. So you can work with your geotab administrator and get that straightened out. So if a geotab device is not reporting, that's the first place that you should probably look and make sure that it's reporting. Or sometimes it will say now using GPS. If it's using GPS, it will not go to MMS. So that's a geotab issue. And then the last thing is a new unit. So we've gotten a lot of new units in here lately. This happens to be an old one. But if a new unit is not reporting, get a hold of either your geotab administrator or me. And what we need to do is change the name of the device, which forces it to send through the API. We also check this VIN number to make sure that it's entered correctly. So those new units, if they're not entered properly from the beginning, that takes a little bit of work to get those reporting. But just reach out to your geotab administrator or me, and we can take care of it. So usually a lot of questions on fleet. Do we have any questions on fleet and getting mileage straightened out? Quiet group, Tommy. I think we got everybody permanently muted.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
see. I'll check them.
All right, you check them. If not, I guess I will turn it back over to whoever's next.
I think that might be me. So I'm going to go ahead and share. We're going to cover mowing, and let me go out here. It looks like we did some mowing in the Fulton area on the 22nd, and I'm going to show you how we look at how we determine what we've done recently when we go out for mowing. So for mowing, if we want to find out where we've mowed recently or in the last 7 days, whenever you document, the person that is the lead documents their location, there is an area right out here on the last 7 days that is on the location page. And when you click that, it's going to light up and it's going to show you some more real estate here. It's going to show you where you've mowed recently, where you've mowed in the last 7 days. So then you know right where to pick up from the last time that maybe you weren't the person that mowed this area, but someone else did. You would be able to then start documenting from that point forward. Okay. So for those of you that were not aware that that button exists, it is there. And you can also do a search as well from this window. But the last 7 days, you'll be able to put your cursor right where you need to and document where you've mowed. Any questions? Michael, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I appreciate that, Shree. It just helping remind everyone there of just that function, and you can use that through everything. But we're definitely getting ready to start our fall mowing, like Shree was touching base on, and just to do the best we can. We don't, again, it's not about trying to get exact within a foot of where the group before, but it does allow you to see, hey, that's where they finished up and how we take on.
So I
Good
do want
deal.
to point out too that I did add to some questions out in MMS about, let me get out here. So out in MMS under MMS questions, and I did send an email about it. So you all have it also as an email, but under MMS questions, there is, there should be something here about
Make sure
mowing
you're not sharing your
performance.
screen anymore.
Oh, sorry. Let me, there we go. So under MMS help, under MMS questions, so if you go to MMS questions, I did put a new link out here that says mowing performance measures, because this always comes up as a question whenever we do training and just that back and forth of how do we record our performance actuals when we're mowing. So there are 4 questions here that just is kind of, you know, one, I mowed the majors with no grass in the median on a multi-lane highway. How do I figure the performance actuals when there's no grassy median? And then also, you know, how do I figure the performance actuals if I've mowed a major highway? So it just gives you a few things, especially for any new crew leaders, new supervisors, of how do we need to record our PAs. So that document is out there for any help that you may need. You can look out here first, but if you don't understand something, make sure that you call the MMS help desk or send the MMS team email group an email with your question.
Just one other thing, that last 7 days reported, that's not just for mowing. That works for any activity. So if you've got patching or chipping or whatever, it works for any activity.
Thanks, Randall.
Yep.
Okay, I'll turn it over if there's no further questions.
All right. Thank you, Sheree. Appreciate that. So thank you for answering that survey question there. Well, I think we might have another 1 or 2 of those. If on your screen right here, I might encourage you, I think probably several of you have this already turned on, but if you'll make sure that you click that chat button, you'll kind of see some of those results show up over there. So if you want to turn that on your teams there, turn that chat. You can kind of see some of that information going on there, and if people have questions. So let me kind of jump to the next discussion. We'll talk a little bit about our learn data, talking about training data. And so as we've moved to a statewide system, Movers Learn was activated here in July. We've got some good communications come from our HR department, and that has been available now to us. We're probably somewhere around, I'm going to say probably a good 4 weeks or so is when that link was sent out, that you can go to Movers now. Use that as your system, just like what we did before with Mo.U. That's where you sign up, take a course. So all of that is actively going on, and now the piece is getting those training courses like between May 31st, because Mo.U kind of stopped May 31st. So our HR department has entered into the new Learn system all those records since May 31st that weren't over in Mo.U. So I do believe if you go out there as an employee or supervisor, you very easily are going to see courses that were completed here recently. Okay, so it has it. Now, we've been working with the Movers Learn team, and what I'm showing you right now, I went into ladder license leave. I'm actually on my own transcript here right now. Supervisors, you have the ability to pick anything that you want here. You can see all of your crew, and I'll just put this kind of in most recent. Okay, so for instance, right there, my most recent transcript that MMS has acquired from either what was Mo.U is on May the 14th, okay, of this year. And that probably is what the majority of you are going to see. You really shouldn't see anything in MMS that would be any newer than the end of May. We hope we are getting very close to getting the information from Movers Learn. We've had multiple meetings just over the last week or two to kind of address some things with the file that we're getting. So I was hopeful by the end of August. I do not see that happening. I don't think we're going to have this squared away by this weekend. But I do believe that we're getting closer at this point here. I think I'm going to have to say mid-September is realistically where I'm at to be at. So this piece of training data hits like 3 or 4 different things, and you guys are fully aware, right? So your transcript, okay, someone took something that's not showing up yet. Exactly right. We're still waiting to get that update from the system. The other piece would be like a career ladder, right? So if I'm a career ladder, again, my times come up, encourage everyone, supervisors, employees, actively get out there, look at your career ladders. I think it's a good process for us to be using. What have you completed? But again, maybe you completed a training a couple weeks ago. It's not showing checked off. Okay, that's a place that's not showing checked off. HR can address that. There is ways to work through that particular situation. Contact your district HR. We've been in contact with them. They know what's going on, but there's ways they can work through that. The other thing would be your safety dashboard. Again, on your safety dashboard, we've had good questions there. You come in here and you know full well, hey, my crew has completed this, right? Maybe I had an employee go through Gear Up here a few weeks ago, or we've taken some more courses, right? Again, your score is still setting basically at the data as of May 31st. So that is been delayed, right? That number isn't current. And then if you look at training alerts. Okay, so if you go and you assign work today, again, we actively encourage everyone, use all of those tools you have in assigning work. Do the leader, do the work zone coordinator, do the chainsaw operator, get all those roles in there, get all your equipment in there. We check a lot of things. But example again, if you just recently took a course on paver operation or roller operator, and now you go assign that roller operator to it, yes, we don't have that record. So all of those things are still being tied up in not getting those. So we do hope again within a couple weeks, and then we'll be off running again. But just want to be very straightforward and up with you all. If you have questions on that, please let us know. We'll help out in any way that we can. But we do believe that we are getting closer to that. Had a couple questions come up in the chat there. Randall, appreciate you responding to those there. Anything else you want to highlight on that question?
No, that's just a great question. But yes, it definitely does show which side has been mowed. So you can tell which direction you need to go ahead and document.
Fantastic. Good question. All right. So, Sheree, I think we've got a holiday coming up. I'll let you kind of touch base with that a little bit there.
Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. So we have the holiday coming up on Monday. That the majority of everyone is either going to be working 5/8 or they're on a 4/10 schedule. So to find your information, if you click on help, one of the first areas that I get a lot of calls about is some holiday issues. So under questions, we do have any H-Day issues that if the H-Day is missing from review and submit for a new or transferred employee, it just gives you some information here of what you need to do. So keep in mind that the new hire, you'll need to contact the MMS help desk, and what we can do is request a batch job be ran for that H-Day to be entered for that person on your review and submit in MMS. So make sure that you contact the help desk as soon as you know that H-Day is not showing up for that employee's record. And the easiest way to find that out is that if you are on review and submit and it does not show under the hours there, that H-Day is missing. The other thing is that if there is a transfer employee, the best thing to usually do on a transfer employee anyway is to take them on and put them on an individual timesheet in MMS, and then we just have that H-Day be added. But if they're missing it, then we can find that out. And usually what happens is that the H-Day is on their previous record from the org that they came from. And so then we have to have our developers get involved and add that in when we need to. So make sure that you reach out with any of those kinds of holiday issues. The other thing is that the work and exception time entered for a day cannot be less than 8 hours or 10 hours. What that usually means is that you need to make sure that 8 hours of H-Day is on their record. Sometimes MMS does not actually send the H-Day hours to TRS, so there could be where in TRS, maybe that is not designated as an exception for H-Day. So always take a look and see what TRS has, and if it's missing, you need to just do that drop down of the exception and add that H-Day. So those are some of the issues that we do encounter when we're dealing with holidays. The other thing I want to point out here is that if you go to MMS help, you'll also find, let me just close this and it's easier just to show you through MMS help. We also have under our MMS user guide, and this is if you like to do a follow through document, and we have H-Days. We also have that if you are working the 410 with a replacement holiday, but this H-Days document basically shows you step by step of what you need to be seeing on your screen, and I'll show you here in just a minute. So this is if you're working a 410 schedule, that it will automatically generate the H-Day of 8 hours. And then the 2 hours is always recorded to annual leave. But say that you don't want that annual leave, you would just then follow this next one down here that you can can then click on change that annual leave and change it to say that you worked a day or a few hours on Sunday and you want to use those hours to use instead of the annual leave. You can flex that on Monday. So you can do that, or say that you had hours that you worked later on in the week and you want to update that, and your supervisor says, yes, that's great. Then you can also change that to flex and you don't have to record annual leave. Keep in mind, according to HR policy, is that we only receive 8 hours of H day. Everyone does across the board. So if you're a 10-hour employee, we need to make up that extra 2 hours somewhere, whether it be state comp, whether it be flex or annual leave, federal comp, any of those other leave categories, in order for it to equal up to 10 hours. We do not get 10 hours of holiday. If you are a 10-hour employee, you only get 8, okay? If you end up working on the holiday, you're gonna just record your time, your start and end time, just like you normally would for any other day, and it will put it in the add hour category. If you work on the holiday, say that you got called in or something, you will also have those as add hours. You would have your H day, and then you would also receive HDIF for that. If it is for a response of some sort, such as windstorm or flooding of that sort, then you would also have market adjustment that would apply if you were to work on that holiday, and this is for 10-hour employees. And then down here, if you do a replacement holiday, it tells you step by step of how you would end up putting in your replacement holiday. And then if the holiday falls on your scheduled day off, which we have some in St. Louis area that they work on a Monday, and Monday is our holiday, then that's when they would be putting in the one HRDO that it would populate in MMS for them, and then they would get that holiday, okay? So we have that document, but then we also have under help, we also have our MMS videos. And under MMS videos, you would go down here to holidays, and then you would see that we have how to do the one HRDO, and then our replacement holiday, and then replacement holiday videos that we have available out here. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you what that day would look like. And I'm just going to show you what it looked like whenever we recorded time in May. So whenever we had Memorial Day holiday, you can kind of go back and you can look at that holiday just to see, oh, my cursor did not point to the right one. Sorry about that. Just 1 second here. We'll click on the 27th here, and I'll show you what this group recorded time to and what it looked like on review and submit and what you would be seeing then. So here you can see that you can click on leave and it will tell you everyone received the H day on their day. We had several that used annual leave, but we did have some that used flex from flex that they had already entered. And then here is someone that used the state comp. So here for this employee here, they did some windstorms. So you can see where we have our annual leave, we have our 8 hours that is recorded, but we also have market adjustment on here. And because he was called in, he also received his HDIF. So on his leave, if he wanted to use that add hours, instead of recording annual leave, he could have changed that to be flex, okay? So that's just one example of what you would see. And I'll show you on another one here what it looks like if they just recorded each day was already on here and then automatically the 2 hours of leave. And again, you can change that by clicking the add leave, changing it to whatever kind of leave you want, and then you would delete the annual leave. Okay? Any questions about holidays and how we need to record that? Okay, Michael, I'll turn it back over to you.
Hey, thank you, Sheree. I appreciate that. Just appreciate how much she understands all that and has been such a big help in all of our process there with our holidays and everything else. So we're going to go next to talk a little bit. Tommy's going to share a little bit about some ladder license leave with kind of what we got that, and then I'm going to follow up with some information about some Power BI. So, Tommy.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, I'm just quickly. I mean, ladder license leave has been out there for a little bit, but just kind of want to go through and give everybody a quick reminder what's under the ladder license leave button, a little bit about the alerts and stuff you get. So under career ladder, I see statewide, but as supervisors, you'll see anybody that's under you in the um, up for promotion for or in that series for intermediate or senior level in maintenance, bridge maintenance, and signal signal lighting techs. So it comes up by default, just giving you everybody that is inside the 2 month window of being eligible for that. There's also a show all button that will give you a full list of everyone that is in that series that's still eligible for promotion through the career ladder. Remember, your seniors that are already seniors, your career leaders and stuff like that, they don't show on this list. This list is about the folks that are in the entry level or intermediate level that are would be eligible for promotion to intermediate or senior. Michael's already kind of touched on license and training, but I'll just kind of quickly go through. There's 3 areas to license and training. I'll just open it up. You have your driver's license, could be operator, CDLA, CDLB, shows your expiration date, commercial status, any endorsements that you may have. There's also a couple of check boxes here. You can use anybody expiring within 60 days. You can check that box and that'll break that list down for you, or filter that for you. Same thing with expired. You can click the expired box and show you anybody that's expired. Some of these are really old, just depending on the situation, but it's still what's in the Department of Revenue. They send the file over to us. And so some of these are really old for whatever reasons. They're valid or invalid. So you just have to look at those individually. We also then have our professional licenses tab. This is where you'll see everything from, CPAs to PEs to whatever type of professional license that's been entered here. And lastly, Michael kind of touched on the training courses. Again, you're looking at my training courses, but this gives you ability to search district division. Just depends on who you are and what you are, on what you can or can't see here. But again, this is all your training that you've had, and ultimately, the learned training will be here when we get everything online with that. And then the last piece is leave balances. You can see that I'm showing an alert on my leave balances. We'll take a look and see. Looks like I'm projected to be over my max balance on October 31st. That number shows in red. If I go back to, I should have a message telling me that there's a leave message here that's alerting me that my annual leave balance will be over maximum allowed on October 31st. Supervisors, you're getting that for the folks under you as well. And that'll happen. Those messages start on August 1st. And then we turn them back off after October 31st. So you're not getting them all year round. But we use August 1st was kind of good. Hey, you need to start having conversation with your folks, or hey, yourself, you need to start planning, so that you don't have all your time left at the end and have to take a big block off. Same thing, if I was below on my sick leave or annual leave, those numbers would be showing red if I'm below 40. It will show that too, and that happens year round, that you'll see those displayed in red. So hopefully you guys are using this. It's pretty helpful, not just for supervisors, but for you individual. If you're in the career ladder window, you can start your own career ladder and submit that to your supervisor. Supervisors can start it for their own employees. It works both ways. So I went through those really quick because I want to make sure I give Michael a few minutes to cover his remaining topics. But any questions on ladder license and leave? Okay, you guys can always go back to the chat. If you have a question, you don't want to ask it now, send us to the chat. You can send it after the meeting, send the question through the chat, or reach out to us. Michael, turn it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Tommy. So a couple things to just kind of finish out our last bit of time here with everybody. We want to highlight Power BI. So this is within MMS, we have the ability to go to results, and that has been a big strength of what we've been able to do for several years, is to use that results data there. A lot of good information, but over the last year, you've seen we've really got more involved in the Power BI. We added a link here. When you click on the reports, anyone can go in there. It opens up a page like this. This is how we control who has access to certain pages. Just about everybody has access to this big one here. There's some safety things that on this one's more there are safety personnel. But if you open that one up, I just want to highlight a couple of Power BIs that have that are out here. You're welcome. You're not going to break anything. You can look through anything, any of these. None of them are really data entry. I mean, this is all telling you information. But we've got things about talking about looking up activities. This is where we're doing our winter situational awareness information, all kinds of stuff we're doing on that. You can look up some stuff on striping. We got a new Power BI we've been put out there. We're going to have, training, multiple different pieces. The most recent one was this plan versus actual. Kind of ties into what we were talking about with our effort here, starting with rebuilding our work plans. So you can pick any year. We go back about 4 or 5 years. I've turned on 2024. I've turned on mowing, and I've got all the districts. Okay. So right now, as of last night, with the data we have, we've spent about $13.3 million mowing this year. We've paid contractors. Realistically, for the most part, we shouldn't be paying contractors under 413. That usually should be under 41C, but sometimes just the way jobs get done, sometimes we just miss some stuff there. But there's 314,000 contractors mowing, and this kind of shows you what right now what that's running. It's about $119 a shoulder mile is about what we are mowing, our mowing costs for this right now. And we've spent about 162,000 hours doing that, right? So similar, I could go pick an activity. Let's go pick this striping. So here's where we are striping. I see KK there on our group there, down in Cape. You can go look at any district. You can kind of see where we're sitting at right now. We're running about $431 per line mile to stripe. Again, we've spent about 12.7. We're sitting right now just shy of 30,000 line miles of striping completed. You could filter the districts if you so desire. Want to look at one more. Let's go look at asphalt. So if we were to pull up asphalt for the entire year, again, we've spent about almost 42 million. We've had 3 million go out to contractors. Majority of that was some of the governor work that was paid through our AMD stuff there. Right now we're placing material at about $124 a ton. That's labor, equipment, materials. That's probably pretty close. It always depends on how invoices are coming through. But I wanted to highlight this. So we planned this year about 377,000 tons came from that work plan effort you all are doing. Again, you'll get ready to start doing that. That's why intentional, just do the best we can. We've placed about 89% of those tons. You know, we still have some work going on with asphalt, but we're getting closer to the end. And then this is kind of interesting, right? We planned about 1,082 individual routes. Okay, that's kind of what this column is. And we've touched 422 of those. Now, I think we updated this last week, so there could be a little bit different here. But the whole reason I want to show this is that we are trying to bring a little bit more visualization to, we plan something, do we do it? All of you know that there are plenty of good reasons why there are some things we plan that we don't do. It happens, right? But the challenge is to all of us is how can we be as intentional about our work plan and honor and know what we need to do this fall for the next year? What does that look like? So go out and take a look at some of those. Realistically, this number should not be something that's 100%. You know, but just challenge yourself. You know, where should that be? Should we be able to make a plan this fall that when we go about our work next year, that's the work we do? And maybe that means we need to have more people involved, right? Maybe we need to be making sure we run this past area engineers, make sure that we've reached out and we're aware, right? But things do happen. We all get that. But just be mindful of those pieces. So encourage you guys, look at those Power BIs. I think there's some really cool stuff that we can utilize and help us in that part. So another question come up there. Thank you, Tommy. Hey, do you use any of these reports? I do. That doesn't mean everybody does, right? So again, encourage everybody to make sure you turn on your chat there. You can kind of see what the results are from that surveys that populates to that. All right, so last few minutes that we have here, I just want to take this to particularly to recognize Cherie. Cherie Minnendorf has served MoDOT for many, many years. I'm not trying to make her emotional. This is a tough decision when we choose retirement, but Cherie is going to have the ability to take and start her next part of her life. Cherie has been the face and the voice of our customer service. So I'm going to put out there in the chat what I believe she has replicated to all of us as customer service. She has been our rock star and will continue to be that. And it's because it was never about, I think, the term customer. Right? It didn't take long, you guys working with Cherie, to see that you were never looked at as a customer. That's why it wasn't. She valued it. She saw you as friends, as people to help. And that's what drove her to so many times, right? She would say, we got to get back to these people, right? I got 10 people on the call. Has everyone answered them and helped them out? And so again, Cherie set the bar pretty high for us to continue to attain to that level. We know that we wish her the very best, excited for what she gets to be a part of and do there. But we are, again, we get to benefit from all that she's helped us in almost 5 years that we have actually had MMS out there. So again, if I give you, if you guys would give her a high five, holler out at her. Again, she'll be here with us to the end of this week. But again, Cherie, thank you, lady. You've been awesome.
Thanks, Michael. And you all, thank you so much. You guys have been wonderful. You guys are the reasons why I've continued to keep trudging along. So now it's time to focus on me and enjoy some grandbabies and just enjoy a little time. So thank you all so much for being such special people in my MoDOT family.
All right. We wish you the very best. That is our discussion for today. We will focus in September. Then the month is all going to be about winter. So I encourage you, reach out to your friends, other supervisors, other MoDOT personnel. It'll be pretty heavy towards all that. Anything winter documenting, all of that. So have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. Let us know what we can do to help out. We'll see you.
You all take care.